Man, this whole situation is getting out of control. And at this point, somebody seriously needs to explain what's going on. Every few weeks, it feels like there's another attempt to drag Drake's name through the mud. Whether it's unreleased music mysteriously leaking, random internet personalities trying to connect him to crypto controversies, or now an ex-girlfriend sitting down on a podcast and spilling private stories. And before we go any further, Drake, you're really telling me women are walking into that Toronto mansion without signing an NDA? Come on, that doesn't even sound believable. I can't lie, this story completely caught me off guard. Just yesterday, people kept telling me, you need to cover this Drake situation. And my first reaction was, nah, I'm not buying it. I figured this was probably another case of someone feeling bitter after things ended, deciding to tell stories for attention after Drake moved on. That's usually how these situations play out. But once I actually listened to the entire interview and heard every detail for myself, my opinion started shifting because something about it felt different. And honestly, part of me is starting to wonder if this whole thing unfolded exactly the way Drake wanted it to. Also, Drake, my brother, you might want to ease up on the milk. As Dr. Umar loves to joke, white women never, black women forever. And you already know the internet wasn't going to let that line stay out of this conversation.
Never, snow bunnies never. I said black queens forever, snow bunnies never. I said black queens forever, snow bunnies.
These white women keep bringing nothing but headlines and drama. Yet for some reason, Drake just can't seem to stay away from them. We've already watched situations like the Bobby Althoff controversy explode online. And now another chapter is open because one of Drake's former girlfriends, Suede Brooks, recently appeared on the Dumb Blonde podcast and broke down everything from how their relationship first started to how it all eventually fell apart. If you want to hear the complete conversation for yourself, the Dumb Blonde podcast is available on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, and that's where all of these details came from.
That happened with you and Drake, because I know there's so many rumors around there that are always flying about like you and Drake.
So basically, I was staying on my friend's boat and her father had hired Drake to come to the boat and throw a party in Saint-Tropez, and Drake had never been to Saint-Tropez. And so he came on the boat, he came with his friends. It was amazing. He's such a great guy.
Yeah. Did you and Drake ever hook up? I'm gonna take that as a yes.
Yeah, I mean, we did.
Okay.
And he's great.
Yeah. Would you ever, are you guys still friends, or?
I haven't spoken to him in a minute.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really like to speak to a lot of my like prior flings or like or men that I've dated in my past. Like once you lose me, I'm gone.
So he lost you?
He did indeed.
What did he do? Give us the
The part that really had me scratching my head was when she started talking like Drake was the one who missed out. Hold on a second. What exactly does she mean by he lost her? Drake is one of the biggest stars on the planet. So what is he saying behind closed doors that's making these women feel like they're the exception instead of the rule? I'm not even trying to be disrespectful, but you could walk into almost any upscale grocery store or trendy neighborhood and find plenty of women who fit that same description. That's why this whole thing is so fascinating, because whatever Drake is doing or saying clearly leaves a much bigger impression than people on the outside would expect.
I'm like, what didn't he do?
I mean, he's Drake, you know? He doesn't strike me as a man that can have like a solid relationship, you know, because he's Drake.
And he's also just like so talented and so busy in what he does, and lives like he lives such a big, fulfilled, busy life.
How long did you and Drake date?
We dated, I would say like on and off for a few months.
Really?
I would go see him in Toronto. And yeah. And then one day I was like, I'm tired of this.
Was it just because he had other girls, or was it like, was he just not honest? Like there had to have been something that made you be like, you know what, I don't want to talk to this man again.
I think it was definitely like honesty.
Yeah.
I'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
And that's tough. I mean, especially when you're dating somebody of that caliber and with that power.
Let's be real for a second. Does anyone honestly believe Drake was only talking to one woman at that point? Come on, we're discussing one of the biggest celebrities in the world, so acting like she was the only person in the picture just doesn't sound realistic. That's exactly why some of these claims surprise me, because it feels like there were probably other relationships happening before they met, during that time, and after things ended. Whether people like it or not, that's the lifestyle that usually comes with someone at Drake's level of fame, and it's hard to imagine either side believing they were the only person involved.
I was very scared for my safety.
And that's exactly where I'm looking at Drake and saying, this is why you've got to be more careful about who you let into your circle. The phrase, "I feared for my safety," is one of those statements that instantly grabs attention. And when someone with Drake's level of fame hears those words attached to their name, the situation can spiral fast. For any high-profile black celebrity, especially a multimillionaire, that kind of public claim can create serious headlines, legal scrutiny, and damage to their reputation, even before people know the full story. That's why moments like this are bigger than internet gossip, because once those allegations start circulating, controlling the narrative becomes almost impossible.
Things for a long time living in LA. The things he said to me were very alarming when I was 21 or 22 at the time.
This is where I think Drake keeps making the same mistake over and over again. Brother, at some point you've got to move on from chasing women who are barely out of college, because constantly dating people in that 21 to 26 age range seems to bring nothing but unnecessary drama. Whether it's fair or not, people at different stages of life often have completely different priorities, and that's usually where these situations start getting messy. If I were giving Drake any advice, it'd be simple. Find someone who's a little more mature, because these headlines just keep repeating themselves.
Hear those things said to you about coming from the most powerful artist in the world that has so much power and can do things, the unimaginable, within the snap of a finger. It was very...
At this point, I'm looking at Drake and thinking, brother, you've got to be paying attention to how this is being framed. The wording starts sounding very calculated, with the conversation painting him as the powerful celebrity, while presenting her as the person with little control in the situation. Whether that's intentional or not, those kinds of narratives can carry serious weight once they hit the internet, and they immediately get people talking. That's why public figures have to be extra careful, because once a story is framed that way, the court of public opinion often makes up its mind long before all the facts are on the table.
Some of the things that he said that would scare you like that. Because that's not cool. You're a baby.
I was
21.
a baby.
Yeah.
And I still feel like a baby.
You are still a baby. 25 is a baby.
Yeah. I think I've just experienced
You've
a
lived
lot.
so much life, girl. You're an old soul.
And I feel like that.
Yeah.
I mean, I think also moving out at such a young age and being snapped into reality. But yeah, I don't really want to get into specifics because I hate bringing that stuff kind of back up.
Yeah.
But he is so talented. I know he has a great heart, and I wish him nothing but the best in his future. I hope he finds somebody that he loves and cherishes for the rest of his life. But it wasn't me, and it got to a point where it was almost like I physically and emotionally can't give you what you need, so I'm gonna step away.
Yeah.
And I kind of left it at that.
I mean, if he's saying things to scare you like that, you don't deserve that.
Well, that's where it was scary, because
that's almost abusive.
Especially with, like I said, somebody of that power.
No, Drake, this is exactly the kind of thing you can't afford to overlook. The way the story is being told starts painting you like you're some larger-than-life power figure pulling all the strings, while she comes across as the completely innocent person who just happened to cross paths with one of the biggest celebrities on the planet. Whether that framing is intentional or not, those are the kinds of details that people immediately latch onto, and they can shape public perception in a hurry. That's why I'm saying, Drake, you've got to pay attention to how these narratives are built, because once the internet settles on a storyline, changing people's minds becomes an uphill battle.
Messages that he's gonna have bitches fold me up.
Bang, we got him. And with that right there, the case is closed, ladies and gentlemen.
Verbatimly, that's what he said. I was like,
for what reason?
I'm gonna lock my... It was all miscommunication. He thought I was saying something that I didn't. And
did he think you were talking to the press?
No, he thought I was talking like shit about him in LA when I never was.
So that gives him grounds to say that he's going to have bitches fold you up?
Literally verbatimly. And I was like, oh my gosh, so I didn't leave. I'm not kidding you. babe, I did not leave my house for like 3 months. I didn't step outside. Like, I didn't like go out at least.
Yeah.
Because like I was scared because especially somebody of that power. And I know I've grown a lot from it and I know he's grown a lot from it. I think also during that time it was emotional for both of us because it was just like a big miscommunication.
Drake, my brother, this is exactly why you've got to be careful with the words and phrases you use. If you're repeating the same expressions in different situations, it becomes much easier for people to connect those conversations together and build a narrative around them. That's what makes this so interesting, because the phrase, "I'll fold you up," is something people already associate with Drake, so hearing it come up again is naturally going to grab attention. At that point, whether it's taken seriously or blown out of proportion, the internet is going to run with it, and that's a headache no public figure wants.
So what then? So what then, big dog? Don't look away now, pussy. Don't look away now. Don't look away now. Don't get shy now. We'll fold that up right now.
Look, even if every single story she told on that podcast turned out to be completely false, one particular phrase would still catch people's attention because it could make listeners think there's some connection. It's almost like leaving behind a signature that people instantly recognize, and once that happens, the internet starts filling in the blanks, whether the facts support it or not. That's why I keep saying, Drake, you've got to be much more careful with your words. If those alleged messages are real, why would you ever send something that could be interpreted as a threat when you know every text from a celebrity can become tomorrow's headline? From a public perception standpoint, that's the kind of thing that can snowball fast, especially when you're already under constant scrutiny. Then the conversation gets even bigger because people begin asking what other interactions may have happened behind the scenes, even without any evidence to support those assumptions. That's how speculation grows online. It starts with one claim and quickly expands into a much larger narrative. We've even seen creators like Trap Lore Ross discuss alleged connections between Drake and serious street figures, which only adds fuel to the speculation circulating across social media. And in an era where high-profile entertainers are constantly facing legal investigations and public scrutiny, you'd think every move and every message would be handled with extreme caution. At the end of the day, though, these remain allegations, and it's important that people hear every side before jumping to conclusions. Personally, I don't expect Drake or his legal team to publicly address every accusation, because responding can sometimes give a story even more attention than it already has. Still, if there's one lesson here, it's that someone with Drake's level of fame has to move smarter, avoid language that can be misunderstood, and stay far away from anything that could create unnecessary controversy. But that's just my take. Now I want to hear yours. Do you think Suede Brooks was being truthful by speaking out after the relationship ended, or do you believe there's more to the story?